Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. Another pool update video. Today's video, I'm going to go over, I guess, the initial plumbing and piping of what I've done. It is not complete, and honestly, it's a hot mess. But I'm going to take you through it and show you how it's turning out, where my pain points have been, and so that hopefully, if you do this project, you can do it better. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of go around the pool. First, let's talk about what's on the inside of the pool. So things we've done is we got the lights cut in. So you can see my finger there, and there, and there, and there. So those are the 4 lights that we're gonna have in this pool. Now, how we position those, to start off, actually, I'll take the time to do this. Let me walk up to my table where I've got all my stuff, and we'll show you what I did to try to map these out, and we'll see how it actually works. But trying to position these things, I tried to do my homework and figure out what the light is going to look like. And what I came up with is this. So here's the pool, right? Crazy sketches. What I did was I assumed a 60-degree arc for all of the lights as far as how it's going to throw the light. In reality, it's going to diffuse a little more evenly and wider probably than that in the water. But I needed something, and 60 degrees seemed to be reasonable based on the internet and at least 30 seconds of research. So I got out the protractor, right? Go back to high school geometry, and based on those locations, you can see my 60-degree arcs overlapping, right? To try to get reasonable maximum coverage. And this is how they came out, right? With all of those overlapping arcs. So this is one way to do it. This is at least how I did it. So with that, back around, you can kind of see those lights. And furthermore, what we did was we had some cheap little like stick-on LED kind of puck lights, battery powered, and we basically put them in those locations and turned them on at, like, you know, 5:30 in the morning when it's still dark, to kind of see how the light diffused, and it looked okay, you know, at least through the air and everything. And so that is what we decided to do. And then we just proceeded to cut the holes. So just a 3-inch hole in the wall. We put them 20 inches down from the top of the wall, mainly because that's kind of right in the middle of the water line, because the final depth is going to be 40 inches, because you're going to have 2 inches of basing material at the bottom, and so half of 40, so that's where we put it, 20 inches on center. And all those are just return, they're just like return fittings, right? The same fitting that we use here, right? That's what the light actually fits into. Okay, and I'll show you some of that. So as we talk about plumbing, we'll talk about the lights first. So here is the setup for the light. So it's got, as you can see, that little fitting, basically 1.5 inches there, and the light will fit into there and extends into this tube here. All right, the light's about 6 inches long. I did an 8-inch piece just to make sure I had enough room, and then we basically reduced down from 1.5 inches, you know, with bushings, to 3/4 inch. And this is where the cable is going to go, you know, the wire. These lights have wire attached. So when you buy them, make sure you got enough wire attached. Otherwise, you got to do a splice somewhere and do that to code, and that's annoying. So in my case, I bought 3 lights with 150 feet of cord and 1 light with 50 foot. And that should all be enough, I hope. So that is the setup. I still need to run a pull string through here. That way I can pull when I do the light install, right, I can pull the cable. So that is still to do. Other plumbing, let's start down here. Previous video we showed you those standpipes, right, for the waterfall, future expansion, and then the slide. So there's the pipes coming down. Basically what I did is, once we located those, right, got them plumb in both directions, and then I just used rebar there, staked into the ground, staked into the sidewall to hold them in place. And then I had my son pile dirt on top of them to further insulate them. You can see he did a bit of a job. It's good enough. And it's free labor. So so those are held in place until we do the backfill, right? And then coming around, I mean, you're basically just running these lines. Things that I didn't expect is the sheer amount of 22.5-degree fittings that I would need, right, to make this work. You can see it's kind of trying to snake around this pool, right around the edge. Is most of these are all 22.5s. And so my recommendation, if you get one of these freeform pools, buy a lot of 22.5s. And good luck trying to find them at your local supply house. Like my local supply house here didn't have them, right? I'll call them out. Lock Supply. Y'all didn't have it. I tried. Made me sad. So I had to go to my go-to again, Supply House. Not a sponsor, but supplyhouse.com. Get them all from there and buy more than you need in one order, because I probably made, at this point, half a dozen orders to Supply House for fittings, and so I paid shipping on some. It's just been a nightmare because I just never knew what I needed, and I tried to plan, and you can sit there on the porch, I got a stack of fittings, and some of them I ain't gonna use. I overbought too many on one thing, and blah, 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 blah. So my recommendation to save yourself pain, whatever size piping you're running for your skimmers and returns, which probably should be 2-inch, just buy a box. Just buy a whole box of the 22.5s, and you won't go wrong. If you have extras left over, you've got them, because you probably can't get them locally without some effort. So riding around, you see I haven't completed it yet, right? I still have some pipes, but what you see, I basically have 4 of the gray electrical conduits for 4 lights, right? And those connect back up to that junction box that I showed in previous videos. And then all the other pipes. Now this is where it gets nasty, right? Coming around the pool, it's okay, right? But getting into this trench, it's bad. All the plumbers who are looking at this right now, I'll pause for your laughter, okay? It's bad. I know it's bad. I wish it were better, okay? It's my first day. You know, if my father-in-law ever watches this, Dean, I'm sorry. Like I tried my best. It's not gonna leak, it's gonna be functional, but it is a hot mess. And let me show you one of the mitigating circumstances that didn't really find out until I was too far along in this project to really back away and do it better. You know, because honestly, I didn't want to. Here's our trench, and you can see right there. If you can see it, maybe I can't see it in the video, in the frame here because of the sun, but hopefully you can see it right there. That is the drain line going from the house to the shop. So this trench, I can only go so deep with it. And the way it actually worked out, everything's kind of cantilevering over that drain pipe. Now the proper thing to do, ideally, and this is where a little more planning on my part would have worked, okay? See how deep the pool is there? When I dug this trench out initially for our drain line there, it's too shallow, okay? It was too shallow. I wish it were deeper, because then I could have done it deeper. I could have exposed this drain line and routed things under it. That would have been ideal, but I didn't, and so I'm working with what I got. So I'm packing all these things in here, you know, and they will be shallower than I would like. It's also going to be constantly circulating water, you know, so in the summer it's not a big deal. During the winter, I'm actually not going to winterize the pool. It's going to be like, you know, constantly circulating. So I'm not worried about freezing, even though I would like them a little deeper. Likewise in this trench, you know, I wish it were deeper, but this is what we got. So learn from my mistakes. The other thing is, you can see all the funky angles here. If I had planned a little better and dug my trench in a different spot, like maybe angling it more this way or something, right? Or making it wider, right? Then I wouldn't have these weird funky angles. So maybe at a minimum, just making it wider. So these are my lessons learned, and hopefully you can learn them. So while we're here, let's talk the equipment pad, right? I got lines coming in, I'm getting there. I also started making up some of the manifolds. I started setting some of the equipment. I'll talk more about the equipment later when I'll do a full like equipment pad overview, but just started making up the manifolds. you know, all the valves there, taking the guts out of the valves before you glue it. That's important with those kind of Hayward and style, you know, pool valves, right? That little manifold there for the deck jets, right? Started with all the 3/4 lines. So we'll go more about this, like I said, when I actually complete it. But that is where we're sitting. The other thing I'll talk about is finishing up the skimmers. Okay, talking a little more about these. You see down there, there's a line there that I needed to cap, and that's what they said. Just say cap this line. Why? I don't know. But that's what they say to do. So I just capped it with an 1.5 inch line with that little pipe. I don't know if it's gonna hold water. I'm assuming there's gonna be enough circulation going on to where it's not gonna just stagnate, you know, even in that little sump. What I should have done, and I learned this morning, you can get PVC plugs, again from Supply House. And basically, instead of having a little piece of pipe and a cap, you can have just a plug that is, you know, will fit inside the hub there, where it literally just blocks it off and glue it in. That's what I should have done. I think that's what you should do. So if you're using these Aqua Genie skimmers and you cap that, supplyhouse.com, schedule 40 PVC plug. There's your, that's the term. So that's it. These other skimmers, other thing on these skimmers that it's a feature and I didn't use it. I don't think I'm going to use it, but if you can see down in there, right there, there's a little knockout. And then that is for an overflow pipe. And they basically give you a spec to, hey, glue in this length of a 1 inch pipe. And I think it basically is a stand pipe that you put up there. And then on the bottom side of it, you run that overflow pipe out somewhere to an overflow. So what I could do, and I still have options to do this. I just don't know if I'm going to. I don't know what the point of it is. I think just I guess if the water level's too high, it'll automatically drain, give you an auto drain, I guess, which is kind of cool. So I may end up doing it. If I do, I'll video it. But basically run that 1 inch line out to a drain somewhere. And I've got my, right over here, right? I've got my little drain still exposed. I could tap into that, right? And run those two skimmers, that one and that one, into there. I still may do that. I am undecided. So certainly if you guys have experience on this, anybody who's built pools before, is that what it's for? The documentation is a little sparse. Good idea, etc. So holler at me, let me know. Other things, I plan on bedding all this pipe. I got myself 3 yards of sand out there to fill sandbags to hold the liner in place when we do that, as well as to use some of that to help bed some of this pipe, just to make it, you know, make it as nice as I can before we start piling gravel on. So that is my plan. You know, part of this channel is me learning how to do stuff, right? So I wanted to show you warts and all, you know, and this is definitely a wart. I'm looking at this, you know, I am not proud of it. I don't like it. I wish it was better, but sometimes you gotta get stuff done, right? You can't just spend all day or spend inordinate amounts of time on things. So this is what we got. And so hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, and your project turns out better. So that's all I got for you guys. If you like the channel and what I give you as far as content, please like, share, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Helps out the channel, helps me continue to give you this content. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.